Tensions across the Middle East have entered a dangerous new phase with missile attacks, retaliatory strikes, and geopolitical maneuvering reshaping both the battlefield and global markets. The ongoing war between Iran, Israel, and the United States, now in its fifth week, has escalated dramatically, with new developments raising fears of a prolonged regional conflict and widespread economic disruption. The latest flashpoint came when Iran launched a significant ballistic missile attack targeting central Israel. According to Israeli military assessments, the strike involved a sophisticated munition believed to be equipped with a cluster warhead, a type of weapon that disperses multiple smaller explosives over a wide area. Analysts have long warned that such weapons increase the risk of civilian harm due to their wide-ranging impact. The missile barrage struck several urban locations, including densely populated areas around Tel Aviv. Reports from emergency responders confirm that multiple sites were hit simultaneously, causing localized destruction across residential neighborhoods. Vehicles were seen engulfed in flames, while infrastructure sustained considerable damage. Israeli emergency services responded rapidly, deploying teams across the affected zones. Several individuals were reported injured, though most injuries were described as minor. Authorities continue to assess the full-scale destruction as cleanup and recovery operations remain underway. This attack is part of a broader pattern that has defined the current war. Since late February 2026, Iran has carried out repeated missile strikes against Israeli territory in response to coordinated military operations targeting Iranian infrastructure and assets. The missile strike highlights Iran's growing emphasis on long-range precision capabilities and unconventional payloads. Military experts note that Iran has diversified its missile arsenal, deploying various warhead types, including cluster munitions, to overwhelm air defense systems and maximize impact. Despite Israel's advanced missile interception systems, some projectiles have managed to penetrate defenses or land in designated open areas, causing sporadic but significant damage. The use of such munitions suggests a tactical shift aimed at increasing psychological pressure and complicating defensive responses. The broader war has also drawn in additional actors. Iran-backed groups across the region have launched attacks toward Israeli territory, signaling the widening scope of the conflict. At the same time, U.S. military operations inside Iran have intensified, targeting installations, missile facilities, and logistical hubs. Thousands of targets have reportedly been struck since the beginning of the conflict, reflecting the scale and seriousness of the campaign. Amid these developments, attention has also turned to a large explosion reported in the Iranian city of Isfahan. Footage circulating widely appears to show a massive blast, with reports suggesting it may have been the result of joint strikes targeting an ammunition depot. Officials familiar with the situation indicated that heavy bunker-busting munitions may have been used in the attack, capable of penetrating deeply fortified underground facilities. Such strikes are consistent with efforts to dismantle Iran's extensive network of hardened military sites. The destruction of these facilities is seen as a key objective in weakening Iran's ability to sustain long-term military operations and project power across the region. While the battlefield developments continue to evolve, perhaps the most critical strategic issue remains the status of the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow maritime passage through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply flows. The strait has effectively become a central leverage point in the conflict. Iran's ability to disrupt or control shipping through this corridor has triggered alarm across global markets, pushing oil prices higher and raising fears of supply shortages. Recent reports indicate that the United States is reassessing its approach to the conflict, particularly regarding the reopening of the strait. Instead of prioritizing immediate control over this vital waterway, the strategy appears to be shifting toward weakening Iran's military capabilities before pursuing diplomatic solutions. This evolving approach has sparked debate among policymakers and analysts alike. The United States, under President Donald Trump, is reportedly considering winding down military operations against Iran, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains partially or fully closed. This marks a notable shift from earlier positions where reopening the strait was framed as a primary objective. The change reflects growing concerns about the potential length and cost of a prolonged military campaign. Officials have indicated that attempts to forcibly reopen the strait could extend the war significantly, conflicting with the administration's preferred timeline for ending hostilities. Instead, the focus has turned toward achieving core military objectives, such as degrading Iran's naval forces and missile capabilities before transitioning to diplomatic pressure aimed at restoring maritime trade. Global markets have reacted strongly to these developments. Oil prices have surged amid uncertainty, with investors closely monitoring signals from Washington and Tehran. The closure or disruption of the Strait of Hormuz has already begun to ripple through the global economy. Fuel prices are rising, supply chains are under strain, and industries reliant on energy-intensive materials are facing increasing pressure. Countries heavily dependent on Gulf oil exports are particularly vulnerable, while major economies are bracing for prolonged instability. The situation underscores how regional conflicts can have far-reaching consequences in an interconnected global system. Experts warn that continued disruption could lead to sustained economic shocks, affecting everything from transportation costs to food production. Over the course of the conflict, the U.S. administration has sent mixed signals regarding its objectives and strategy. At times, officials have adopted a hardline stance, threatening severe retaliation against energy infrastructure if key demands are not met. At other moments, the importance of certain strategic goals, such as reopening the Strait of Hormuz, has been downplayed, suggesting a more flexible approach. This inconsistency has drawn criticism from analysts who argue that unclear messaging may complicate diplomatic efforts and undermine strategic coherence. One prominent expert described the idea of ending military operations without securing the strait as deeply problematic, warning of long-term economic consequences. Despite indications of a potential de-escalation, military deployments in the region suggest that preparations for further escalation remain underway. Naval assets, including amphibious assault ships and expeditionary units, have been moved into the Middle East. Additional ground forces are reportedly on standby, with discussions ongoing about the possibility of deploying thousands more troops. These movements highlight the delicate balance between pursuing diplomatic solutions and maintaining military readiness in a rapidly evolving conflict. Questions have also emerged regarding the possibility of a ground war. While no official decision has been announced, officials have made it clear that all options remain under consideration. Responding to inquiries about potential ground operations, a senior official emphasized the importance of maintaining flexibility in military planning. Look, the president has been asked about boots on the ground or alleged ground operations various times, he said. He's obviously declined to rule them out. The statement reflects a broader strategy of preserving operational ambiguity while avoiding premature commitments. The official further clarified the decision-making process, noting that military planners are tasked with presenting a range of options to leadership. It's the Pentagon's job to provide maximum optionality to the president, he explained. At the same time, there was an effort to reassure that any actions would adhere to legal and constitutional frameworks. With respect to abiding by Congress and the rule of law, that's something the administration will, of course, always do. These remarks come amid ongoing discussions about the role of congressional authorization in any potential escalation. The administration has emphasized its efforts to maintain communication with lawmakers throughout the conflict. Officials noted that briefings have been provided to congressional leaders and relevant committees on multiple occasions. The administration gave a courtesy notice to Congress, and top-level officials have gone to Congress multiple times, he stated. Such measures are intended to ensure transparency and maintain institutional oversight, even as the situation continues to evolve. The broader regional picture remains highly volatile. In addition to missile strikes and air raids, incidents involving drones and attacks on critical infrastructure have further destabilized the situation. Recent reports indicate that energy facilities and shipping assets have been targeted, underscoring the vulnerability of key economic lifelines in the region. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts have struggled to gain traction. Talks have been intermittent and often inconclusive, with both sides maintaining firm positions. The involvement of additional actors, including regional militias and allied forces, adds another layer of complexity to an already multifaceted conflict. At its core, the conflict represents a convergence of military, economic, and geopolitical dynamics. The use of advanced weaponry, the strategic importance of energy routes, and the interplay of global powers all contribute to a situation that is both highly volatile and deeply interconnected. The decisions made in the coming weeks, whether to escalate, de-escalate, or pursue a negotiated settlement, will have significant implications not only for the Middle East, but for the global order as a whole. As the war continues, the world watches closely, aware that the stakes extend far beyond the immediate battlefield.